Hi everyone, welcome back to Injection Insight with Erin. I'm Erin.
I'm Lisa. Oh. Today's episode, we have a special guest with us.
Hi, my name is April. I'm an esthetician. I'm from Ventura, and I'm so excited to be here.
So today we have our special guest who she's going to give us her experience and what it was like coming to her office and yeah.
Okay, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love you guys so much. You're just so amazing. Everyone that works here is just so fantastic, and ever since I came in, like just from the consultation, just it's so thorough and it is just so amazing. A lot better than the other places that I've been to, honestly. I remember I came to Erin because I had somebody inject my lips and Botox, and I am not exactly sure what happened. I think they might have hit like a nerve or something. Wow. But it was really painful, and then I also had like little lumps in my lips. So yeah, I went to Erin and he like fixed
everything.
Fixed everything. Yeah.
And you've been coming to us for how long now?
I think like a year or two.
Okay.
But every time I leave, I just like love my results. My mom comes and yeah.
And we love you too.
Thank you.
What were the main differences from a previous place that you went to us? That you can give somebody like that's new about to go into med spa,
right?
What they should look for.
I feel like Erin is just so knowledgeable and really takes the time to perfect everything and really like check in and see exactly what it is that I wanted. And yeah, just like even meeting with the doctor, like the consultation, like is just very thorough, which I love.
So before you went to the other place, did you do any type of research or looking them up online, reviews, things like that? What did you look for?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't do too much research, and then of course that happened.
Yeah.
So then I started, researching more and finding reviews, and I saw that Erin's reviews are amazing. So
yeah, because you never really know.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to
no,
cut you
you're
off.
so good.
But you never really know. I think even with the social media, you're just scrolling through, and a lot of these places, they're sponsoring ads now.
Yeah.
So you look at it, it looks good. The cheap pricing, right?
Yeah.
And we all want to save some money, but that's not always the best. And then if you're not looking into it more and reviewing, sometimes you can get caught up with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and we pride ourselves on our reviews because they're honest, truthful reviews, and they're real clients that came in, had their experience, and when you're looking for a practitioner to do your service, obviously do your research, check Yelp, check Google, check any of those Groupon or discounted sites that there's areas to leave reviews there too to see kind of what, if they're on there, what they are. And just it's really important to do that because even if somebody has 500 reviews and they do have some negative ones, read what the negative ones say, because it might not have anything to do with the actual injector. It might not have anything to do with the actual place. It could have something to do with the parking. Because some people tend to put their own experience in the whole process into a review. So just don't overthink the reviews, but definitely take them into account.
100%.
So how did you find us?
I found you guys on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So looking through. Yeah, I think that's a good way too. Kind of
Instagram's
pictures,
very
looking at
popular.
comments. Yeah. And did you have like an idea of what you wanted to do when you first came in? Did you come like for one service and then you kind of made a treatment plan from there, or?
Yeah, I came to get, I think it was Botox filler, cheek filler, or lip filler. I think it was lip filler at first to kind of fix what had happened. Yeah. Which I didn't even think was possible. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because it was scary.
That is very scary if you're getting the lumps and stuff. And then dissolving, I know a lot of patients, they're scared to dissolve their lips. They don't want their lips to go away. But I know for you, a lot of times you'll do the micro dosing.
The micro dissolving. So a lot of clients that come in with lip situations, whether they have lumps or bumps or just like little uneven areas, basically migration, all of that. So you don't always have to dissolve everything. In my experience, sometimes just doing little micro dissolving just in that bit. Yes, the client does need to know that it can migrate and dissolve way more than they want. It could dissolve all the lip, it could dissolve part of the lip, as long as you explain or the practitioner explains this to the client. That's the most important, and just microdosing it, like the dissolving, and then just going from there. So on that note, let's talk about dissolving, right? Because dissolving, you would use hyaluronidase. It's an enzyme that breaks the actual hyaluronic acid down. I always joke and I say it's kind of like you know, when you have a clog in the toilet, you put some Drano and it just kind of breaks up the hairs, right? In my head, that's what I do. But basically, it breaks away the the filler, the dissolver breaks it away, and it just takes about 10 to 14 days for it to fully dissolve. It's really not very painful. I know you guys can look on YouTube and Instagram and you'll find crazy videos. I've seen some crazy videos where their lips like 10 times the size and all of that. Now, I do think that's for shock value. I've never had a client come in and freak out and have these crazy lips.
Yeah.
I inject the Hylenex directly into the area that I'm actually dissolving, and we don't add extra numbing, which will swell and puff the area, which makes it look more dramatic. So it's really not as insane and scary as social media sometimes can make
And
it.
they want to do that. Because you did get some dissolved. So in your opinion, how painful was it? Because we do get a lot of patients that come in and
Yes,
they're
they
scared
freak
that it's
out
going to be
beforehand.
I was gonna
painful.
ask. Actually, I didn't get it dissolved.
Oh, you
He
didn't?
Just, like,
Oh, you just fixed
Yeah.
it. Okay, I'm sorry.
We
Yeah.
ju- we
No
just
worries,
adjust.
yeah.
Yeah, we adjusted locations as to where to put the
Right.
filler to
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
almost mask any previous lumps, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, you know, put a little filler in the front, put a little filler in the back, and move on from there. So in regards to dissolving, right? So just make sure that if you want to get filler dissolved, go to the practitioner that that you did the filler before and ask, what product was it? Did we use, a Restylane product? Did we use a Juvederm product? What was it? So then that way, when you go to the practitioner that's dissolving, if it's not that specific practitioner, they know what they're working with.
How does that make a difference?
Well, it
in
makes a
filler?
difference because sometimes I've personally had clients come in and they've had filler placed outside the country or at a random place, or honestly even not in a spa and in like a garage setting, which I do not recommend ever. And they don't know what's filled. They don't know what
Yeah.
was put in, and they're like, it lasted me 10 years and it's migrating and it's growing. Well, is it filler?
Yeah.
So just making sure that you know what was placed first of all, and just in general, make sure you know what's being put in your face at any point, and then just checking beforehand, because if it's not hyaluronic, No.
Highlandase?
if it's not hyaluronic acid dermal
Oh,
filler,
yeah.
the Hylenex will not work. It will do nothing. So if they put silicone or they put anything that's other than hyaluronic acid dermal filler, it will not. Even if for instance Radiesse, it's a calcium based filler, if they have it in their cheek or their jaw or wherever they may have it and they want it dissolved, and they say, I have filler, I want it dissolved, it won't do anything.
And that's good to know.
Yeah, because
I
they're
have a
going to waste their
question
money.
about
What was that?
So, do all lips, after like years of getting filler, need to be dissolved, or is it when somebody is like overfilling them? Because if there's
Good
like
question.
a certain technique, then
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the practitioner. I've personally, I don't think there's a need to fully dissolve. You
Yeah.
can do, like I said, micro dissolving, but there's no need to, because it does dissolve and go away on its own over
Right.
time. But I will say, if somebody's over injecting constantly, and then they have massive lips, right, and they come in, I want it dissolved. If I dissolve them, they're gonna look like deflated balloons or
Yeah.
deflated pillows, and not to to be disrespectful for anybody's aesthetic, but that's the point where they would want to let it go down a little bit, and let it rest for a little while, then come in and start doing dissolving. But if you're going from massive to nothing, it's not going to look very
right.
Natural.
because your body has to adjust, right? The size is not going to be what it is, so
Yeah.
just letting it slowly go and then dissolving would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
And then with all the dissolving, like, is it only for lips or can you dissolve the other areas,
Absolutely.
right? Same, yeah.
So you can dissolve as long as like I said, as long as it's hyaluronic acid dermal filler, you could dissolve cheeks, lips, chin, jawline, all that good stuff. Just it has to be the correct product. And then in regards to dissolving, I'm just going to kind of go on a little side note here. In regards to like PDO threads or anything like that, and say the client goes and does PDO threads and doesn't like it, you can do like radio frequency,
Oh, yeah.
and that speeds up the process, right? So there's something for that as well. I mean, mind you, it won't go away right away. It takes time. And then also the Easy Gel. We had a podcast, we talked about Easy Gel, which is the all natural filler that we
Yes.
talked about, which
It's
is
all from your own body, yeah.
exactly the PRP. So that one actually can also not be dissolved, but it can actually be dispersed into the body faster with warm compresses, which is very interesting. So you also have you have an option for that too.
The more you know.
The more you know. So I mean, so in regards to in regards to that, just basically that when you go to a practitioner, make sure you know exactly what's being used. Have them, even if you're not quite sure, have them open the package in front of you, right? Or just kind of check to see what's going on. I know in our practice, that's our policy, our procedures, our packages, everything's open in front of the client, so there's no question about what's being used.
And I think you've talked about that before
Yes,
too. Even
absolutely.
with Botox or anything else, you're bringing the bottle in. You're not bringing in just full syringes already filled.
Yeah,
So
you should never ever let anybody inject you with the syringe that's walked in with no label on it. But yeah, so basically, but long story short, if there is an issue and something didn't go right, or it doesn't look the way you want, as long as it's hyaluronic acid dermal filler or easy gel or even PDO threads, it's something that can be fixed, it can be adjusted, it can be dissolved. So it's something that you don't need to worry about.
it's good to know. It's
Yeah.
good for everybody to know those options.
absolutely.
So yeah.
That's what I love about you guys too, is like the results are so natural and you explain everything. Because really, like, knowing exactly what to expect is really important too.
Yeah.
So there's no surprises.
I find that I tend to over-explain sometimes.
I really think it's a good thing though, because I mean,
Yeah.
I know just in previous experiences years ago, you just feel rushed.
Yeah.
I want to go in, and if I'm spending this money and it's going to affect my face or anything like that, I want you to explain. Why are you using this particular product? Why are you placing it this way? I think it's important for you to understand.
Especially in a day where there's so many different brands, so many different types of fillers, and they do so many different things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like asking the practitioner, why did they choose, I don't know, Revenus Versa over RHA? Why did they choose RHA over, I don't know, Juvenile? Like, what reason?
Yeah.
Is it because their personal experience with the product, or what is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that
I
goes
agree.
back to knowing what's being placed in your face.
And that eliminates anxiety too for some people, because some
Yes.
people get worried. Yeah.
For sure.
And asking, and as a patient, asking the questions. If you feel like something's off, or you feel like you're not getting adequate information, speak up. Go for it. What is this? What are you putting in my face?
Yeah.
Show it to me.
Don't be nervous to
Don't
ask.
be nervous.
It's your body, so don't be nervous to ask.
Especially the money you're spending.
Oh, yeah,
It's your
for sure.
body. It's a medication. This is a medical procedure. Like I said, this is a medical spa. It's not. You're not going to some back alley, which I hope you're not, please don't, location to do it. So just making sure that you deserve the same amount of respect that you're giving them, they need to give to you. And that's giving you the information, letting you know what it is, and speaking up.
So from your experience before, was there anything you can talk about, like when you first got it done, to like the healing process and the aftermath of it all and the end results?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so last time I came, I got Radiesse filler in my cheeks.
Okay.
And it's a little different than what I normally get, which is, I forgot the name of it.
The
but it's-
RHA, right, filler?
RHA?
Did she
Or
have last?
well, it's most likely it's the hyaluronic acid
Okay,
double
hyaluronic
filler.
acid.
So different brands, but yeah.
Right, okay. So the Radiesse swells and kind of goes down after a few days, whereas the hyaluronic acid
Yeah.
kind of like is, starts to get swollen. Yeah. And so it was a little bit of a surprise,
At
but it
first,
went
yeah.
down. Yeah. And it was so beautiful. And I just feel like doing something for yourself, and even if it's just like a simple little procedure, just makes you feel so much more confident. Like I feel so much better than when I first came in here.
Good.
And I just feel like amazing. Yeah.
Good.
So, when you look at it, I feel like you also do good too, especially having my own business and
Of
stuff.
course,
so,
yeah. So April is, or you mentioned in the beginning that you are an esthetician, and this is just the first part with April. So just kind of her experience and everything, and then she's going to be on again next episode talking just more about your business, what you do, social media, things like that. Just open conversation, but just getting all that knowledge from her as well. Yeah.
Can't wait.
But
for
we
the next
appreciate you sharing your
Thank you.
experience, and we love her. She's always such a supportive client to us, so
Thank you.
we appreciate that.
On that note, just make sure that you use Hydra50, code Hydra50. That's going to give you $50 off your next procedure here at Dermabeauty Med Spa in Calabasas. Please make sure to follow us, like, subscribe. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and all the good stuff.
All the things. And thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you next time.